Chris Cairns as well. It's Chris, lovely to catch up with you.
Good to be here.
Literally, yeah, good
Correct.
to be here. Because bloody hell, it came close to you not being.
Yeah, it was, and it was a huge shock. I mean, I suppose, mate, we all take health for granted. We really do. And, when you sort of arch over 50 and start to move into the twilight years, it's something which, I had no signal for and just came completely out of the blue.
So did you, honestly, when I heard the news and it was overnight our time and I came in first thing in the morning, I looked up aortic dissection. I didn't know what it was. Did you?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one, and it's quite a rare condition, often misdiagnosed. It's sort of from a damage point of view, the tear sort of within the main blood vessel that sort of comes out of the heart. It's just there's an inner tear in the blood vessel itself. Blood starts to drain, takes away from other vital organs. And if not diagnosed pretty quickly, it can be extremely damaging.
What were you doing when it happened? How did it happen?
I took the kids to school, and I don't actually remember that. I mean, you can get one of the byproducts of that is that it's a loss of memory, and because I think the blood pressure comes down significantly as well, mate, then there's all sorts of complications off the back of that. So I took the kids to school, came home, felt like a really bad hangover. That's the best way to describe it. It's just a really bad hangover, and subsequently called my wife Mel. She came home. Cut a long story short, we went into the accident emergency here in Canberra, and sort of as soon as they took my blood pressure, it was through the floor, and they just rushed me off to emergency off the back of that. And for a week, mate, I had 4 heart surgeries. And don't remember a thing. Whereas my poor wife, Mel, was sitting beside me, living every second. And, she's been a wonderful, she's been a trooper.
I bet she has. When did you wake up and were you cognizant of what had happened and how bad it was?
Well, yeah, about a week or sort of 8 days later. And I woke up in Sydney because they performed 2 heart surgeries in Canberra. Then there were complications. I had to have an ECMO machine, which is essentially a heart-lung bypass that was administered here in Canberra. The team from St Vincent's in Sydney chopped it down, picked me up, took me up, and so then I had 2 further heart surgeries up there, and then woke up about 8 days later with all sorts of stuff going on in Sydney with COVID. Afghanistan had been overrun by the Taliban, so I'd lost about eight days. And once I started to come around in ICU in Sydney, the amazing thing about ICU and the machines that sort of keep you alive, they also keep you awake. And so you start to get this delusional state as well. And so, it's a pretty traumatic experience sort of coming through that. Wow. But without the support of, the nurses, the doctors, the specialists, I'm a lucky man to be here.
I bet. And the stroke of the spine, when did that happen and why did that happen?
Yeah, good question. It's something which I think just the complications throughout the whole process, the trauma on the body, there was a blood clot that decided to go south and went into the spine. And with a spinal stroke, which is what I suffered, it's just really the deprivation of oxygen into that area. So the nerves themselves literally shut down. So those impulses or signals that come through the spine to move muscles to from the brain down into that area, that's on hold. Will it come back? That's the unknown, mate, to be honest. And that's the battle now, is that I literally came off external precautions yesterday from the chest side. So now the battle is in rehab, to take on that whole neural pathway, which is a beast in itself.
But here's the thing. I'm looking at you now. You look like you and I could go to lunch. You look as well as.
Yeah, I'd just be joining you in a wheelchair. So like that. And look, I'm a very lucky man. Like I said, number one was death. Secondly, any brain damage that potentially could have occurred as well. I'm fortunate enough to have sidestepped that. And, when you look at, I'm currently in rehab here, and there's patients that do have that affliction. It's just so sad that neural aspect is a really challenging aspect of this.
So what's rehab and how long does it take?
Yeah, again, good question, because I've always been goal driven and sort of destination driven. Muscles and bones take 6 weeks to heal, and you come back. But with the whole nerve and the neural aspect, made us very much a journey and a direction focus. There's almost no time. It's just when it decides to engage and when the nerves, and if they decide to come back, it's just a daily exercise, trying to sort of get the body to re-engage with what it knows and what it used to know. And if you can't have that nerve element there, then perhaps the neural pathway can form its own way or a new way to get the body moving and to get going. So it's it's a huge challenge, and it's moving the chains literally inch by inch daily, and that's what you have to be prepared for.
How much have they said is it about physical? In other words, if you work hard versus in your head, don't get delusioned by it.
Yeah, it's I think 50-50, both the same. You have to push yourself, but then that mental outlook, and I suppose that's the athlete background. The fortunate from a rehab point of view, I know the rehab process, but like I said before, the difficulty being now is that you've got to be journey. It's the journey of what you're doing, and just allowing the body to turn itself on, when it's ready. So you just have to be prepared for that.
Was it your fault in any way, shape or form?
Yeah, I contributing factor. I mean, there's an element of family history. We have a family history in our side of high blood pressure. So that was something which I'd been slack on maintaining. So, going and getting refills of medication, and just sort of some lifestyle choices, shall we say, during COVID, which maybe, in hindsight could have been better. So I think there's always a contributing factor to yourself. You always have to look in the mirror with what's going on. I could have done things better for sure.
Yeah. And so what now? Do you second guess yourself? Are you at the stage where because I'm like this, I'm hopeless. I would second guess myself. I'd be going, shit, I don't want to do anything in case it goes wrong again.
Yeah, look, and you do. I mean, I with a life and death scenario that sort of occurred, you do question your mortality for sure. And so I think the messaging from my side is that it's just maintenance and vigilance and diligence. It's all of those things which we can often put off till tomorrow. But as I said, I'm lucky to be here to be talking about that. And mate, I would just advocate common sense. I mean, it really is. So yeah.
Family been good?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we had the COVID scenario here in Canberra as well. So I was literally 15 minutes down the road from the family and couldn't see them for 7 weeks. So, but the flip side of that meant that it was single focus, doing what I had to do. And, now that I'm in a wheelchair, getting mobile, looking to stand, the question is, will I walk? That's unknown. And but what I do know is that I'll try and squeeze every ounce that I can out of my body, and mate, where I end up, I end up.
There you go. Have you reevaluated life in general? Is that what you do as you sit there thinking?
Yeah, you do. You really do. And I think what you tend to do is realize that we all sort of sweat the small stuff, and we often make mountains out of molehills. One thing that I've been really thankful for is I suppose the reaching out of the cricket community in New Zealand. The Players Association in New Zealand have just been superb, and it's been fantastic to sort of connect and reconnect with people who have sent genuine well wishes through, and I'm so thankful for all of those that have been done.
Fantastic. Well, go well, work hard.
Thanks,
and
mate.
It's terrific to catch up with you, and we wish you nothing, obviously the best for the festive season, but nothing but the best for your rehab as well.
Cheers, Mike. Thank you so much.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on Newstalk ZB.